Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Happy August, salt air, rust on your door, living for the hope of it all. Today, I'm building a penthouse for one of my Sims. She's a one-star celeb and is a famous painter. This penthouse is in the New World in Lovestruck, Ciudad and Enamorada. I figured after everything I put this lady through, I owed it to her to give her a nice, lavish, modern, colorful place to spend the last of her adult years and spend her golden years at. For this build, I didn't really have that much in mind, except I wanted it to be, like I said, modern and colorful. I spent a long time figuring out the shape, what windows I wanted to use, where the stairs were going to go, and what the landscaping was going to look like. Because we are on top of a building and I don't build penthouses basically ever, it was hard for me to figure out what to do with all the empty space. I eventually figured it out, but I basically cut all of it out of the video because it took me like 45 minutes just to figure out how to do the grass area, the patio, and all that. I figure while I show you the process of how the entire building comes together, I would tell you a bit about my sim. Her name is Arabella Scruggs, and she lives with her elderly dog Squeegee. I'm so sorry to this dog, but pets in this game are just a lot. I don't play with them that often, but I really wanted her to have a dog, so I gave her a dog, and thankfully, knock on wood, this dog has not run away the entire time I've had him. And I think it's because every morning I have Arabella go for a jog with him, though he's elderly now, so it's now just like a walk. But if you're not constantly giving your animals like attention, they always just like run away. So I feel like for me, playing with pets, it's so stressful because I don't want them to run away. So thankfully, he hasn't ever done that, but I don't really play with her anymore because I'm more than likely I'm going to be playing with her son. I won't be here when he dies, which I think he's got like 20 Sims days left, so we'll have to see. But like I said, Arabella also has a son. His name is Wendell, and he lives in Tomarang with his wife and his child. And his dad is none other than Mr. Bjorn Bjergsen. May he rest in peace, because he died while climbing Mount Komorebi. I had Arabella make him break up with his wife when I found out she was pregnant with Wendell. She met Bjorn at the train bar, like the old train station bar in Evergreen Harbor. And they hit it off. And me forgetting that he's married, I was just like, nah, you can get rid of the wife. You're gonna marry me instead. So I had them get married shortly after it was either shortly after Wendell was born or like right before Wendell was born. But then I had them get divorced literally almost instantly. Because I cannot mentally have that many Sims in my house. That was like a dog, a baby, and 2 adults. And I know that I can have like free will on, and I can just have the Sims do whatever the hell they want. But like the control freak in me in this game comes out, and like I have to control everything that every Sim is doing. So I just got really, really overwhelmed. So I was like, oh, you guys got married, but this isn't working out for me personally. I'm so sorry. So I had them get divorced literally almost instantly. However, I did plan on having them reconcile when Arabella became an elder. But Bjorn decided to die. So that plan went out the window. I could have had her marry his ghost, but I sent him to the netherworld because he was just breaking all of my stuff and genuinely being annoying. And also I think the game glitched because I sent him to the netherworld, but then literally the next day I got a call from him and he was asking me to the romance festival, and I was like, how is that even possible? Your ghost doesn't even exist in this plane anymore. Like, he's gone. Like, I have no relationship with him anymore. He's just like gone. So I keep getting calls from his ghost, even though he like literally is not around anymore. I could have had her marry him, but I just didn't. And also, for some reason, the add to household thing just wasn't working on him. I had a high enough relationship with him. I had a high enough romance thing with him, but like the add to household button just wasn't showing up for him. And I could have cheated it, but I wanted it to happen naturally because I know the game is also kind of bugged with that as well. But anyways, another thing about the Bjergsons that apparently they're just prone to death, because also one of his daughters fell off the same mountain and died literally, quote unquote, like a year. Sims time is very relevant. It's very like murky, kind of don't know what a year in The Sims is, but basically after he did. And that was a fun phone call for Wendell to get the week he started his second semester at Brightchester, so I ended up having him drop out because he was just so depressed and sad over it that I just had him drop out. I was like, forget it, whatever, we'll try again some other time. But back to the build. I am finishing up the landscaping out here. I don't show the whole process. I basically just use the same plants that I used right here, and then we're going to jump back inside, and I'm going to be figuring out the doors situation and start to paint the walls before I move on to the kitchen. And it took me a while to figure out what kind of doors I wanted to use here. I know it's like modern, but I'm kind of tired of using the same base game modern doors. I wish there were more. And I also wish that there were more 2-story height, just like regular doors, because there just aren't. They're all like big ornate doors or like the big glass doors. There's no just like single tile normal door, and I don't quite understand why. Also, out here on the patio and stuff, I find these base game lights that I don't think I've ever seen before. I don't know where they came from when they got added to the game. I mean, if they've been in there this entire time, I must be like really blind, but these lights are so simple and rectangular. They're like perfect, and I don't know how long they've been in the game. Like, I just genuinely just don't know where they came from, but I use them all over this house. I use them on the outside, I use them on the inside. They're just like perfect lights. And also these lights right here, what's really strange is that they work on the outside of a building, but if you put them on the inside, they make the entire room go dark. Like, it just turns off every single light in the room. It's really weird. I noticed that when I was building something yesterday. And at first it didn't bother me because what I was building, but then it just made the room like way, way too dark, so I had to get rid of them. But up here on the roof, I'm just going to be adding an air vent in this new water tower thing that we got with the Love Struck pack, which I think is a really cool addition to add to like city buildings and stuff, because this is kind of something you would find on top of like a skyscraper or something like this. And then after this, we are going to be moving on into the kitchen. I wanted this place to be colorful, so I went all out with it. And honestly, I promise, it looks so good in the end. It is very loud and bold, but I feel like it all comes together nicely because the tile backsplash that I choose right here, I think it pulls everything together. I pull almost all the colors out of it. I've debated a while on which swatch for the tile backsplash that I wanted to use, but I ended up settling for this bright one, like the bright pastel colored one. This one with all like the pinks. This one right here with all like the pinks and the blues and stuff in it, because it pulls the color out of the cabinets. And then I use that and base it for the rest of the color scheme, which I use a lot of movie hangout for. I use the curtains, I use the sofa, I use the armchairs, the dining chairs. I use basically everything because it's all loud, and bold. Which honestly, movie hangouts is a pack that I don't use all that often just because of how bold all of its furniture choices are. But for Arabella, I think it works perfectly. And I was originally going to have Arabella live in Evergreen Harbor her whole life. I had this idea of her just living in a shipping container mansion that she would build over her entire lifespan. But I get restless and bored if my Sims are in the same house for too long. It's like an itch. Like, yeah, it would have been nice for Wendell to have like a childhood bedroom in his childhood house for story purposes, but I needed to build them something else. So I moved them to Copperdale when Wendell was about to age up into a high schooler, because I was like, ooh, he could live in the town closer to his high school. He could also live next to the pier and stuff, and it would be easy to like take future friends and future dates to the pier. So I moved them there. But I think this need to just like move my Sims to different houses all the time just stems from the fact that I moved around a lot from like the age of 7 up until literally recently. I didn't really have a childhood home or a bedroom that I could go back to. I think the longest I stayed in one place was 10 years. So, I mean, I guess I have to have my Sims experience the same things that I do. But back to the build for a second. I'm just decorating the dining room here. I'm looking for a china cabinet to put in the corner over here. I also add these lights that I think came with that free like Christmas. Was it Christmas? Like the Christmas holiday pack update. I don't use these string lights that often because they look kind of just like a wall decal. I much prefer to use the ones that I believe came with Parenthood, the little like white string lights. But in here, these ones worked really well. They went with kind of like the theme that I was going for. And then throughout this house, I'm going to be putting up paintings that Arabella has painted all around the house. And I'm going to be putting up a lot of family pictures because I took a lot of pictures. But I'm going to be decorating the entryway here with my favorite mirror in the game. I think it's almost everybody's favorite mirror in the game. It's from Jungle Adventure. It's just the tall one that leans against the wall. And speaking of mirrors, later on, I pick out this mirror for Arabella's bedroom, and I realize I made this house like the bisexual pride flag colors, like blue, purple, and pink, which is funny because Arabella is bisexual. So her artistic and bisexual identity really shine in this place. But over here in the corner in the entryway that I'm just finishing up, I've used this plant table, and I've been kind of obsessed with the stuff from the Blooming Rooms kit since it was free and I don't buy a lot of kits. I normally wait for kits to go free if they ever go free, and there's only been like 2 that have. But since I've gotten the Blooming Rooms kit, I use the plants everywhere all the time. Like it's one staple pack for me now. And then on the table, I just put some letters and I put a dog statue, like it's a statue of Squeegee, her Godlendoodle. And then over here, I put the sad painting that Arabella painted, and I just put the flowers, some shoes, umbrellas, and then a little rug. And then in the living area where I put the colorful couches and the colorful chairs, I put the plant lamp that came with Blooming Rooms. I tried to use this plant lamp literally in all of my builds because it's such an odd item to have, but it's also cool at the same time. It's not for every build. Like, it is kind of like a multifunctional item. It's a plant and a lamp. But it just doesn't work in all spaces and all houses. But it was just funky enough to work in this penthouse. So I thought that was really cool. And then in this area, along with the other furniture, I put a big TV up on the wall. I put the modern fireplace from City Living in the black swatch. And then I'm going to be pulling out those couches in this dark blue color. I didn't quite know what color I wanted to make these because I didn't quite know if this swatch matches like the rug and the curtains, but the chairs, although they matched with the wood, they didn't quite match the curtain pattern. So I was a bit concerned about that, but I would rather have the wood tones match than the fabric. And then here's the plant lamp that I was talking about. It just works in this space. Can't really explain why, it just does. And then I use this base game side table, base game coffee table. I put Tiny Living books on it. And then something else that I thought was cool is I put a jukebox in this corner. I don't really use this item a lot, but I would like to think that Arabella likes to recycle old things when she gets the chance. So she found like this old jukebox out in like Evergreen Harbor in like a dumpster or something, and she refurbished it and fixed it up, and it works like brand new. And I also thought about putting the mirrored coffee table from Movie Hangout Sub, but then I thought that was just a bit too much, the colors and the patterns and stuff, which is surprising considering how much patterns and colors are in this room. But I did hit the point where I was like, okay, maybe that's just a little too much. And then as decorations over the jukebox and under the stairs, I'm going to start putting more family photos. And then I'm going to be putting a Movie Hangout like side table, and on top of that side table I am going to be putting an urn, and that urn is of Arabella's second love of her life. Now, while Bjorn was like the real true end all be all love of her life, she did have a wife after I made her divorce him. They met at her museum. Her name was Ulrike Faust. She was one of the pre-made Windenburg townies. You can see her in the picture that I put on the table. I gave her a little makeover because ripped to the get-together Sims, all they had was get-together clothes and base game clothes. So I had to give her a makeover. But they met at a museum and they really hit it off. They had like the same, like two of the same traits. They liked the same stuff. They were actually both painters. So I had them date for a little while before I had Arabella propose, and then they were engaged for a while, and then I finally got them married pre-Arabella moving to Copperdale. And I decided that once Wendell had gone off to university, I would move Ulrike in so Arabella wasn't lonely. So they were married, but they were living in their respective households because, again, too many Sims would be overwhelmed. I did have her move in for like a little bit, but I couldn't do it because Arabella was also in university doing schoolwork to get her arts degree. So I was just like, nah, this is just too much. So I moved her back in, but they were still married. She came over all the time. I gave her a residence key, so it was fine. But for summer vacation, before Wendell aged up into a teen, I decided all three of them and Squeegee would go on a camping trip. And that's when disaster struck. And some might say I let the tragedy happen, but there is no video evidence of it. I personally can't help it if Ulrike caught the grill and subsequently herself on fire. Arabella did not autonomously go to put out the fire. Wendell was in the shower at the time. So Ulrike sadly passed away on our camping trip. And I keep her urn around as a reminder that taking lovers on vacation is a bad idea. Now, would I have killed her off, divorced her later, so I could have Bjorn come back into Arabella's life. Who's to say, really? I mean, yes, Bjorn fell off of a mountain. Could he have still done that if I was still married to her? Probably. But we'll never know because they're both unfortunately dead. And Arabella is just without the two greatest loves in her life right now. But it's okay. I'm building her this nice house to compensate for the fact that her two lovers have died. But finishing up in her little art studio that I made, I just put all kinds of artistic clutter around. I put these tubs next to the decoration thing to act like she had more art supplies and stuff in them. I'm going to be switching out the downlighting and putting up this chandelier from movie hangout stuff, and then I'm going to be putting up these paper, what looks like paper like chandeliers from the ceiling from City Living in the purple and pink swatch. And then we're going to be moving on out to the patio after I hang up this massive chandelier from Dine Out. I couldn't figure out what light I wanted to put here. I wanted to put one that just like went straight down the middle of the stairs, but they all looked really awkward. So I just decided to hang up this square Dine Out chandelier because I don't use these that often because they're just so big and I don't normally build houses. Besides the small wall height, I rarely ever use medium or tall. And then I'm trying to pick out a lamp for this table. I didn't quite know what I wanted to put on it. Because none of the base game lamps looked right and they kept covering up the picture I have of Wendell on the wall. So I just settled for, I think, this lamp from For Rent. I believe, yeah, this one, and just like a purple swatch. It looks like an antique lamp that she could have picked up out of like a dumpster or something in Evergreen Harbor. We're going to be heading outside now to work on the patio space. I put a grill, I put a table, and some couches and a coffee table from the, I believe it's the backyard stuff pack. I originally was going to go black, but then I was like, no, I need to go bold and colorful. So I picked the blue swatch with like the pink table runner. I put up some beaded curtains behind the table. I put up those plant walls from Eco Lifestyle. I thought about putting a tree in this grassy area over here, and that's an area that I kind of struggled with for a while because I was like, I want a grassy area so Squeegee has a place to like run around essentially, but then like eventually he can't run around except for the giant hot tub there. But I just wanted a grassy patch there because you have a dog and you kind of want them to go pee on the grass and not on your tile, but it's The Sims, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think this outside space looks really nice. Now in this corner over here, when I put the two love seats, like two love seat benches, I put a coffee table in front of them, and I don't believe your Sims can actually sit there because of how I put the coffee table, but I thought it looked really nice, and realistically you could just walk around the coffee table and sit. And honestly, in this game, how often are your Sims actually going to sit outside except at the dining table to eat? So it honestly doesn't really matter. It's kind of just for decorative purposes. And then I get these butterflies from the backyard stuff. I put them in a purple swatch because I thought they were fun. Because in her Carpodale house, she had the little light up spinning flowers out front. So I decided to put the butterflies this time. And then I'm going to be putting the anniversary hot tub out here because she loved the hot tub from her last house. She was using it all the time. She was even using it in the dead of winter. So I decided to give her another hot tub, and I gave her the anniversary hot tub with the cover and the plumb bobs and all that. I thought I was going to put it in a nice color, but I was like, nah, that doesn't fit the vibe, so I just made it all black. But after I put down these spa day circle pavers, because I learned my lesson that the debug square pavers do not in fact work and your Sims cannot walk on them, I have learned to use the spa day ones. We are going to be jumping inside, and I didn't really know what to do with this landing space. I just knew that I needed wall space to put up all of my family pictures. So I just put a bookcase, and then I put up some black curtains because the wall was already bright purple enough. So I just put up some black curtains, and then over here on this bookshelf, I put Arabella's university graduation picture along with the picture she took outside of the ceremony and her diploma. And then on the purple wall is where I put all of Wendell's school pictures. I just basically had Arabella go to the auditorium because I built a brand new auditorium in high school for this playthrough, and I just had her take his pictures in the auditorium as like a picture day type of thing. So I've got like his first school picture, and then his last like child school picture, and then I got his high school picture with him in his football jersey, his graduation from high school picture, and then his first day of college picture as well. But not only has Arabella had a very interesting life, so has Wendell. He lost his dad early in his teen years. He dated the first girl he had a crush on in high school, and then he cheated on her with his childhood best friend, which in my head, him and his childhood best friends were supposed to be like friends to lovers type of thing. But come to find out that she didn't actually really like him all that much. They would do like romance interactions and stuff, but like she would only reciprocate like, I want to say like 20% of the time. So I just had him break up with her after prom, which yes, was probably really horrible to do, but it just had to be done. She just like wasn't feeling him, especially his first girlfriend that he had when they went to go take a romantic picture in the photo booth. It's a picture of him trying to go in for a kiss and her pushing his face away, which I thought was really funny. But I had him break up with his childhood best friend. They're still kind of best friends, but their romance bar is like super red, so it's kind of awkward a little bit. But then after that, at that same prom where they broke up, he met his future wife, Zafira, who is one of the townies from Tomarang. She was older than him, so with the power of MC Command Center, I made it possible for them to continue dating while he was still a teen, which ick, gross, but like she was only older than him by like a week in the game, so I was like, whatever, it's fine, it's not gonna take that long to age up. But I also had Risky Woohoo on, and they had a baby fresh out of high school, like yikes. But they have a daughter, her name is Catherine, and they live in Tomarang. I had the story in my head that since Zafira was living with her sister in an apartment and they didn't have a lot of money, but Arabella had like a ton of money, I had the story in my head that she bought this house for Wendell, Zafira, and her granddaughter to live in. It's not that nice of a house, but over the gameplay, I'm gonna have Wendell like make money and fix it up. Zafira also is like I think she's like a part-time babysitter right now or something. I might have made her quit. I don't remember. I haven't played them in like a hot minute since the Love Struck pack came out. But they live in Tomarang, and Wendell also owns a restaurant that is very, very broken, but I'm going to try to ignore it because I kind of want to play with a restaurant, because Wendell was going to college to Bridechester for the culinary degree, because while he was a teenager, he realized that he really loved cooking and he loved baking. So I made him a athletic chef. He was on the football team, the football team in high school, the soccer team in Bridechester. So he was studying culinary. But then the second he started his second semester, he didn't even get to start class. He gets a call that his half sister had fallen off a mountain and died. And she was like his best friend as like a sibling, like his favorite sibling. So he was super depressed. So I put it in his story that he was just so distraught and depressed about that he just dropped out of college. And then he called up his mom and told his mom that he had dropped out, and he was thinking about just opening up a restaurant because he wanted to do something with cooking that was like constructive, and he found this like old building in Tomarang and he turned it into a restaurant. So I'm hoping that I can get the restaurant to work. There is that bug right now where all of my Sims in this save in particular have clay and big giant tablets, and they won't sit down at the table because they keep playing with their clay and their tablets. So I'm just hoping and praying that it starts to work here soon. But so after everything that's happened in Wendell's life, everything that's happened in Arabella's life, I decided that Arabella needed to just move to a new city. And with the new neighborhood stories updates, I'm hoping she'll find love again behind the scenes while I play out more of Wendell's story. Though she does have the non-committal trait from getting divorced. So maybe not another spouse, but perhaps a partner to spend the rest of her days with. But back to the build. I've built out this yoga space on the patio for her because she picked that up after Bjorn passed. And also I was kind of running out of skills for her to do because I am playing this save on the long lifespan setting, and it's actually quite difficult to come up with things for your Sims to do. Like I could have her just max everything out and become like a super sim, but there's no real story, at least for me, in that I like my Sims to only know like specific skills like to the max all the way, and then have like some like skills like they've dabbled in some things but didn't quite want to pick that up as a profession. I'm just kind of struggling with things for her to do, so I decided to have her pick up yoga. I put a telescope out there, and then we're going to be moving on into the final room that I decorate, which is her bedroom. I did make it hot pink. I was originally going to give her like a colorful bed, but then I felt like it was just too much color, which kind of ironically this entire house is just super colorful. But I just felt like it was too much, so in this room I kind of like toned it back a little and just settled for a black bed. And this is where I pull out the bisexual mirror, which honestly I think it's really great of this game to have so many ways to show off different like sexualities and pride in this game. Like we just got the new base game update where it gave us so many different nail swatches and colors, especially for toes. Originally we only had like one color swatch for toes, and it was like the muted colors, and now you could put like the pride nail polishes and the other colorful nail polishes on your toes, which is exciting. And then for this bedroom I hang up 3 more of her paintings. In here I hang this one above the bed, and then I hang 2 more by the window. And those 2 that I hang by the window, I had her hang them up in Wendell's bedroom since he was like a little itty bitty baby. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her gift them to Wendell so he can put them up in Catherine's room so those paintings can keep getting handed down through the generations. And I think that's a really good story aspect for me, that even when Arabella's gone, her paintings will still be there. But it's these 2, it's this painting. It's like a tree with like a smiling moon and a little house. But I do put the dating bucket on her nightstand. I just thought it was funny because honestly I was running out of decorations to put on the nightstands. I was running out of decorations to put on the dresser. Just decorations that made sense, I guess. I hung a picture of Squeegee on the beach above her dresser, and then I just kind of put some random clutter up here. I put this high school years clutter. I put a tissue box. I also put the weights in here because Arabella is into fitness. Like she's very fit. She's got like the abs, the biceps, triceps, all that good stuff. And then one of the last things I put in here I put a desk. The computer, I make it a dark purple swatch. I put this golden pig plant in here because that was a plant that was originally in her original shipping container house, so I thought it was a nice nod, at least for me, knowing that she had that in her original house. And then I just kind of put a lamp over here in the corner, and then we're going to be moving back outside to where the elevator is just to put a little seating area and some plants. This is going to be available up on my gallery if you want to download that. It does have pictures of my Sims around here, as you've seen, but those are quite easy to take down. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble about my Sims life. This one was a really fun one to do. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!